Hello everyone, it's me, Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing, Psychic Medium, Reiki Master Teacher, and it is time for our weekly messages for the collective. I'm really excited about this one because it's a little bit of a truth bomb. I want to call it a truth bomb because once we talk about it, you're going to be like, oh God, this is a little, uncomfortable. But it is a necessary conversation that one must have with themselves. And so the crew asked me to bring this to your attention. But before we get into this week's message, if you are enjoying the messages that you've been seeing in these videos, if you enjoy my delivery, if you enjoy... please make sure you're hitting the like button and you're subscribing to these channels so you can get these messages every single week, not to mention get access to all past messages. Notifications are really important, right? Because I feel like we're just so busy in our lives, we miss a lot of things that we actually want to know about. So yes, make sure you're hitting the like button and you're subscribing to the channel. All right, so on to the message. This message is about seasonal cleaning. Now here we are, we're very close to the summer solstice, not to mention almost halfway through the year. And a lot of people have been pruning their gardens, right? They've been switching out, winter clothes for summer clothes. They've been getting rid of things, maybe like purging. And so the crew wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that, I'm going to read it. Seasonal cleaning. Don't be afraid to scrub your life. Often, we keep ourselves in situations and relationships based on how they began as opposed to how they are now. I told you it was going to be a doozy. So, when we say relationships, what are we talking about? Everything. We are talking about our jobs. We are talking about our friends. We are talking about our family. We are talking about our romantic partners. We're even talking about relationships with ourselves. They require that we spend time, when it seems appropriate, reevaluating these relationships, reevaluating the people in our lives, and making sure that we are surrounding ourselves with people who are, they're for our best and highest good, people that are actually making us better people. One of the things I've noticed over the years is that people keep toxic relationships based on, I've known them all my life, or, I've known them since I'm a kid, or I owe them this for this one thing they did for me a gazillion and 1 years ago, not realizing that who they were then and who they are now are two different people. Who you were then and who you are now, two different people. We have to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves with people who are going to celebrate us, cheer us on, support us. And when I say support, can we just be very clear about what support means? Support does not mean that, basically I need $5 or I need a cup of sugar or whatever, and you got me. That's not what support always means. Sometimes support means I know I can call you on the phone and I can tell you what I'm going through in my life, and you are going to, advise me with my best and highest good. You're actually interested in advising me at all, right? You're interested in listening to what's going on with my life. If you have a friend or a friendship or a relationship of any sort where you're constantly doing the caretaking and no one's taking care of you, that's a toxic relationship. I'm just going to wait for you here because I know I just jolted a lot of people, right? We are under the impression that friendships are allowed to be one way. Somebody can just take. Someone just gives, and that's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay with any relationship. We relate in a relationship. And if we're not relating, then it's not a relationship. It could be opportunism. It could be a parasitic energetic relationship. It could be psychic vampirism. It can be a lot of things. But what it's not is a healthy relationship. Okay, that's the bottom line. So I know that everyone's had these moments in their lives where they're looking at a situation with a friend or, a loved one or a romantic partner and realizing the longer that they're interacting with this person, the less they're recognizing themselves. That's a red flag, everyone. I just want you to know that's a red flag. If you find yourself catering more to their well-being than you are to your own, if you're losing yourself in the relationship in any capacity, no, that's not good. If a person is demanding that you basically acquiesce your personal power, your self-love, your well-being to them, they're asking you for your power. They are trying to siphon off, your power from you to make themselves more powerful. Toxic, not good for you. Not good for you. I don't care who it is. Please don't tell me it's your mama. Please don't tell me it's your daddy. Please don't tell me it's your sister, your husband, your wife, your kids, whatever. Irrelevant. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. It's toxic, and it's up to you to speak on behalf of yourself, to give this person the information that they need to have in order to address themselves, address the situation, address you, and decide if their relationship with you is important enough to them that they reevaluate themselves, reevaluate, your relationship from their point of view, and decide whether or not they need to make some personal changes in order to take what may have been a toxic relationship and make it a healthy one so that your relationship with each other can continue. If they're coming in with the ultimatums, if they're coming in with the I'm not going to change, I'm not doing this, it's my way or the highway, time to say goodbye. Time to wave them goodbye. Yes, again, I know you guys are going to be cursing me out on this. I can already feel in the ether, and I haven't even released this video yet. You're going to be mad at me for telling you something that a lot of you already know. But here's the thing. When you want anything to grow in your garden, you got to cut away the dead things. You got to prune. You got to nurture. You got to water. You got to fertilize. You got to feed. If you look in your home and it is overrun with crap, right? Abundance has been coming up with some of my friends. If your abundance has to be in things, stuff, you're not really understanding what abundance means. Abundance is within. Okay, abundance is, growing within, rediscovering yourself, growing yourself, always finding the ability or the wherewithal, the desire to reach a little further beyond your comfort zone so that you can grow. So that also means in your relationships, because here's the thing, we choose who's in our lives. So if you're looking around at your friends, at your family, at, your coworkers, your job, whatever, and you feel like there's no one in any of these categories who's really cheering you on, who really loves you, who really takes the time to understand you, who really feeds and nurtures your soul, and they are such a joy to be around, and every time you part ways with this person, you feel better, you've done I'm going to say it. Am I going to say it? I'm going to say it. You've done a shitty job of taking care of yourself. I know. Curse me out in the comments. It's fine. I can take it because you're going to get this information today. Somebody's going to say it to you out loud, what you've been feeling and knowing in your spirit for quite some time. If you're looking around and there's, a whole lot of people, and you in a time of trouble and a time of despair don't have one person that you feel good about calling and knowing that they're going to be there for you, and then they're not too busy and they don't have other things to do, then really be present with you in that moment, you have done yourself a disservice. This is not self-love, and it is definitely not self-care. Okay? So I know, I told you, but I warned you from the beginning. Truth Bomb Day, it was mega stuff. I've had friendships with people that I have had in my life for 20 plus years, but as we grow, we start realizing people keep their friends and friendships and relationships for different kinds of reasons. If your relationships are based on someone or something feeding your ego as opposed to feeding your soul, you're not in it for the right reasons. Okay. And so I have found in some friendships, I was caretaking. I was always the go-to person, and yet relationships floundered because other people weren't really carrying their own weight in a relationship. And I want to really focus on friendships because a lot of you think You don't have to show up for your friends. A lot of you think that when you get a significant other, you can just kind of assume your relationships, your other relationships, your friendships are going to be fine. Nope. Relationships are complicated for a reason. You gotta feed everybody, and everybody's gotta feed you. Okay? So if you get married, oh God, I'm so happy for you. You have some kids, oh God, I'm so happy for you. But don't assume that you're gonna spend the next, 5 years, decade, 20 years focusing on specific relationships because they serve you best or your ego best. And, oh, I'm somebody's husband, I'm somebody's wife, I'm now valid in this world. I'm somebody's mom, somebody's dad, I'm now valid in this world. No, you were always valid. And if you didn't know that before those relationships, I promise you that theme's going to come up. Because if anything happens to those relationships, right? And you haven't fed any of your friendships, and you haven't made sure those people saw you, you haven't made sure that they felt nourished by you and you weren't nourished by them, that's a barren garden. Don't expect any fruit from it. You know what I'm saying? So yes, and sometimes we simply outgrow each other, and that's okay. Here's the thing that you cannot let happen. If you are trying to grow, if you're very much about your spiritual journey, if you're about personal development, if you're about really expanding who you are as a person, if you're about, becoming the person of your dreams in this lifetime, you're not waiting to die, reincarnate first. No, maybe next time I'll do this. No, we're still here. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're embodied, you're still here. So you have a chance. If you're about that and you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't either trying to go there with you, or at the very least aren't supporting you, pushing yourself to be more, again, you got to reevaluate those relationships because it's not going to work. Why? Crab in a basket mentality. What do I mean by that? Listen, a lot of times we're surrounding ourselves with people who we think love us, and they're actually low-key haters. They're super jealous that you have the audacity to reach higher and further than the little box they have you in. Like, Monica goes in this box. She's only allowed to be this. No, Monica is allowed to be whoever Monica says that she is. And whether or not you agree is irrelevant. Whether or not you can stand it is irrelevant. Whether or not you're there with a measuring stick that I know nothing about, comparing the two of us, that has nothing to do with me. And if you're letting it, taint our relationship because, you don't want to feel less than or smaller than, compared to your friends or compared to your spouse or compared to your coworkers, that's your work to do, not the other person. But a lot of you have, haters that you're calling your friends. A lot of you have people calling their friend, but they're actually opportunists. They are there, nudged up against you, trying to just, steal every opportunity or every blessing that you either miss, don't recognize, or was fully meant for you, but they were like, yeah, I need that. Okay? Prune your relationship. See stuff for what it is, because only when you can see the ugly can you clean it out. And that goes for your house, that goes for your gardens, that goes for, hoarding any sort of thing. That goes for your relationships with your family, with your spouse, with your kids, hell, even your pet. Thankfully, we see mine is just chilling today. You don't know, I just totally got yelled at because he wanted to eat more than he needed to. But the point that I'm making is this, is that we at the beginning and end of the day, we're in control of ourselves. Our lives are our responsibility. Our experiences with the people we willingly and knowingly surround ourselves with, also self-care, also self-love. So if you are trying to hold on to friendships, relationships that are trying to leave, let them go. That absolutely is divine intervention, where the universe is trying to say, listen, you're trying to grow, and we're going to manifest growth if that's what you're about. But hey, in order for you to grow, you got to let go of this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. You got to let go of that job. You got to let go of that person. You got to let go of that habit, bad habit within yourself. You've got to let go of your insecurity. That's going to be a constant one. Right? If the insecurity has been like your kind of Achilles heel, that's a constant practice. So you definitely don't need to be surrounding yourself with people who are going to, feed that inner demon going, you're not that good. You're not that worthy. You didn't work that hard. You don't need them. I mean, you already have that little demon that you're trying to exercise internally. So if you've actually hurt yourself by, recruiting somebody with an outside voice to do that for you, again, not self-love, okay? You're always going to have a certain amount of doubt, insecurity or whatever. But that's not who you should, that's not who we should be surrounding ourselves with externally. We should be surrounding ourselves with people who are going to tell us the truth, whether it's easy to listen to or not, but who also have our best interest at heart, who can celebrate our wins with us, who can cheer us on when we really don't know what the hell we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how we're going to get there. Okay? So that is this week's message. Again, I fully expect some of you are going to be like, you know what, Monica? And yes, I do. I've been doing this for a very long time. And yes, I'm the person that's going to say the thing that needs to be said. And those who are my dear friends and inner circle know that and love me for that. Sometimes they get mad at me. Yes, they sometimes absolutely get mad at me. I've definitely been asked, do you always have to say what you think? Yep. Sure do. It's kind of the whole, light worker, starseed, truth seeker, truth speaker thing. Absolutely. Now, but you do have to ask me first. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you. Just because you don't like the answer doesn't mean I didn't tell you the truth. And if I choose to answer, I'm already showing you and demonstrating that I care about your well-being. All right? So everybody, prune your lives. Make sure that who is there, no matter what the relationship is for you. Is for you. And make sure you're for these people. Because if you are that friend who really doesn't tell your people the truth when they need to hear it, you are not a good friend. You're not. If you are the friend who sees, someone that you love or proclaim to love going down the wrong path, and they ask you what you think, and you don't tell them the truth, like, hey, so that's not good. Don't do that. Yeah, you're heading, so that's a cliff. You don't keep walking. Yeah, you asked me about that situation. That's not a good situation. Zoom back. And I know sometimes that costs you the friendship, but I promise you, if you have a friend or a relationship with somebody, they ask you for the truth and you tell them and they don't like it and they don't want to be friends with you anymore or have you in their lives, you're better off with them gone. Because that's delusion. Friends do not engage in, enable, or perpetrate self-delusion. Friends don't do it, wives don't do it, husbands don't do it, family members who love you don't do it. If somebody wants to be deluded, let them walk that path alone. You stay clear and present in your own lane. All right, so thanks so much for watching. Again, if you're enjoying these videos, please hit the like button, please subscribe. And hey, if this one hit you between the eyes, because I know it will for some of you, make sure you leave a comment, okay? Thanks so much for watching. Namaste. Have a great day. See you next week. Yes, we're still in a Mercury retrograde. Crazy stuff. But you're going to make it. And so am I. Bye. Hello, everyone. It's me, Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing. And it is time for our weekly messages for the collective. I'm so excited about this one because I feel like just for the last few messages, they've been very, very serious, very heavy, food for thought, and I really hope you guys have really been giving some thought to the things that have been discussed about your spiritual practice, about who you're surrounding yourself with. This one is a little bit more user-friendly, I think. Today we're going to talk about your intuition, so that's going to be a fun one. But first, before we get started, please, please, please make sure if you have been watching the show's videos, excuse me, guess this is a show. Watching the videos, enjoying what you've seen, enjoying the channel. Please make sure you're subscribing and liking the videos and the channels, just because it helps so many other people find it in the search. And yeah, why not spread good news, right? Don't keep it all to yourself. Okay, so let's get into what the group had to say for this week's message. And I'll turn off the sound of my phone. Begin a plan and practice to learn to use your intuition. It's time to discover the tools and develop the skills to embrace, to expand on the innate knowing that is yours by birthright. Life is filled with intuitive moments that, when listened to and followed, will bring you ease and allow you to flow with the universe. So that's a good one, right? Because, you know, I feel like intuition has always gotten a bad rap. We have actually been conditioned, and we've been taught, and we've been given this silent message that we should not ever really trust our own intuition. We should not trust that inner voice within us that guides us throughout life. You know, the inner voice that says, don't go this way, go that way. The inner voice that says, you can't trust this person. The inner voice that says something's wrong with this situation, or it's wrong with the vibe. The inner voice that says you're in danger. We have all been born with that voice, that knowing. And we mostly, as a species, have devised several systems to talk all of us out of listening to it and following it, and second guessing it, and not having faith in it. Why is that? Has anybody figured out why that is? Okay, all right. I'm going to assume that you don't know. Here's the thing. As we've learned in other messages from the collective, other talks and other videos that I've posted, we as a species have created lots of structures in order to basically talk each other out of exerting, exhibiting, expressing, and having confidence in our own individual power. So if you have your intuition, and I'm trying to convert you into a way of thinking, convert you into a way of living, convert you into a thought process, anything. The first thing I have to do is plant seeds of self-doubt within you, so that you will release what comes to you naturally, and you will believe in me, or believe in the system I have in place, or believe in the methodologies that I have chosen for you. So that's what's been happening to us. You know, I have known since I was 5 years old that I was psychic. I have had my relationship with my crew, with spirit, since that time. And, you know, I didn't tell anyone about it during that time. And I can't really tell you why, except for the fact that, you know, I come from a, large family. My immediate family, I'm one of 4 kids, and we're all very boisterous and very loud people. And so to find places of quiet and places of solitude, that was kind of hard. But when I did find them, I really wanted to keep certain things to myself. So that's why I never really talked to anyone about it. This was like my thing. My relationship with spirit was my thing. It was kind of like my safe place, my secret hideaway, if you will. But there are a whole bunch of us out there right now spending lots of time, money, and energy with people like me, with therapists, seeking coaching, trying to get back the thing that we lost as children, and that is trusting in this knowingness, trusting in our own intuition. So why am I bringing this up now? Why is this important? So I've been telling you since the beginning of this year that we have a lot of new earth energy coming in. Old systems that we, were indoctrinated to, that we were prevailed upon to believe and to participate in, are falling apart. You know what? vaccines ain't going to fix what was wrong with the human experience prior to a virus. Vaccines ain't going to fix it. It's not going to fix the inequality. It's not going to fix the fear mongering. It's not going to fix this us versus them mentality. A vaccine's not going to do that. And the reason why I know that's the case is because there's been lots of vaccines. There's been lots of pandemics. There's been lots of fighting, warmongering, or whatever. And all of this has, led us to this moment where we are in our own lifetime, if you're here with me now, realizing that possibly everything that we were told to believe and to believe in was wrong. And on some level, we have kind of always known that because we have intuition. So let's just talk about basic intuition, right? Basic intuition, that gut feeling, that knowing, that pit in your stomach when something is off, something is wrong, that icky feeling that you have gotten around certain people who said all the right things to you in order to gain your trust, and yet, you kind of want to take a shower when you're around them. And yet, rather than having the vibration of their voice sound like a clear clarion bell speaking to you, it sounds more like a clang clang or a clunk clunk, and just everything about that person, that energy says lie, liar, take cover, you're in trouble, be cautious, beware. I know you've all had those experiences because we have all had those experiences. It's part of being a human being. Intuition is part of being a human being. It is our birthright to be able to have an extrasensory DNA strand, if you will. Magic is going to be joining us soon. You might hear him talking to me. He doesn't know we're recording. But back to the point. The point is being intuitive and having intuition and having that gut feeling and having that innate knowing. That is yours by birthright. That is ours by birthright. And we have been indoctrinated to not believe it. And so right now, so many of you are realizing that you were miseducated. You're realizing, you must trust your feelings if you're going to, one, be happy, right? Did you figure that part out yet? Did you figure out that if you don't follow your own intuition, happiness gets further and further away? Have you figured out that when you leave your well-being to someone else, you usually end up on the short end of the stick? Have you figured that part out yet? Have you figured out that I knew that was going to happen and then it happened is really not a way to live a life that, is going to have grace, is going to have ease, is going to be a peaceful state of being? We're going to ignore him unless he starts speaking human and you guys can understand him. But being intuitive is who we are. Just like all the other animals out in nature, they don't speak our language, but when they smell us, when they hear us, they can tell whether or not all of a sudden they've become prey and they're being hunted. All the other animals in nature trust their intuition in order to survive, and we're the only ones who are being heavily indoctrinated not to trust our intuition. So what does that mean for our survival? Oh, right. So how do we start a practice? Okay, I'm going to give you some quick things. First thing you have to do is you're going to have to, come up with some sort of quiet time, some sort of check-in practice, right? Now, I teach a whole class on, learning to use your intuition every day. So I'll just give you a couple things from that. First thing, come up with some sort of practice of meditation. And I don't mean necessarily a guided meditation. I mean just setting aside some me time, minimum 10 minutes a day when you're just alone with your thoughts. And in that time, make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper with you and just start writing stuff down. And it doesn't matter if it starts out with your anxiety and your fears and whatever. That's not the point. The point is to start checking in and to start really building a trust with yourself that what you're thinking is what you're thinking, what you're feeling is what you're feeling. You're not going to self-judge. You're not going to shut yourself up. You're not going to shut yourself down. You're just going to bear witness to what you think and what you feel. Okay, so that's a good practice to start. The next thing is read some of your own thoughts and your own feelings, and then just for fun, follow those thoughts and those feelings. I don't care if it's about a person. I don't care if it's about a job. I don't care if it's about a situation. I really don't care what it's about. You know why I don't care? Because it's not my life. It's your life. Just for fun, follow one or two of those gut feelings and then wait and watch. Because I promise you, at the end of the day, you're going to thank yourself for following your own intuition because it's going to keep you safe. It's going to save you energy. It's going to save you time. It's going to help you walk over some pitfalls, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be a friendship, whether it be anything. 9 times out of 10, when we listen to our intuition, we are avoiding something that's really not good for us. And that's why you get so mad at yourself when you don't listen and then you say, I knew that was going to happen, or I knew they were going to do that, or I knew that was a bad idea. Yeah. So when the crew talks about intuition being part of bringing you ease and allowing you to flow with the universe. Okay, so that's a big deal, right? Flowing with the universe. Wow, you mean we can do that? Like that's possible? Yeah. So intuition, like I said about all the animals in the woods, right? All the animals in the ocean, pretty much everybody on this planet but us, they're always tapped in. They're always tapped in. They're always in alignment with the universe. And you know what their problem is? Human beings not tapped in. Human beings, making the planet harder to live on. Human beings making it more difficult and more complicated than it needs to be. We don't just do it to ourselves. We literally do it to everything else on the planet. So what if we created a practice for ourselves? Since no one else seems to want to do it for us on a large scale, what if we create a practice for ourselves where we just start following our intuition? So what is that going to do? Well, if enough of us do it, it's going to change the world. And you know how I know that? Because when you look at every major change that's happened for us on this planet, forget about the rest of the animals, because they're probably just waiting for us to get it together. So they're like, please get it together. Because, we kind of, instinct wasn't really in the plan for us, at least, or at least as far as we know. If we start following our intuition, right, it will be a lot harder for us to be taken advantage of. It will be a lot harder for us to be talked into seeing one another as anything other than equals, worthy of respect, worthy of life, worthy of self-expression, worthy of love, worthy of joy, worthy of the rewards for whatever hard efforts we put forth, give us. Wait, what are you saying, Monica? What I'm saying is intuition is going to boost our compassion. It's going to boost our empathy. We're going to start seeing one another in a way that makes more sense. Because, from a biological standpoint, all of you science buffs out there, from a biological standpoint, we're not that different
from the rest of the animals. Maybe 1 or 2 strands of DNA. We're definitely not that different from one another, because otherwise how do, like, blood transfusions work and organ donation and so on and so forth. So there's so much more in common than there is different. So if we start tapping into the rest of the universe, we can actually celebrate our own selves and one another without the need to control, right? Without the need to have our own belief systems validated by indoctrinating one another, without the need to feel like the only way to be successful or to be on top of anything is to be standing on someone else, or for someone else to be destitute. I mean, there's so many things that we experience in daily as being human beings that just not just make no sense, but when you break it down to its smallest parts, it's just kind of dumb, right? If you believe in oneness, then none of this makes any sense, right? If you believe that we have more in common than we don't, then none of this makes any sense. If you believe that we all are quote unquote born good, none of this makes any sense, right? So something happened. We were taught to disconnect from the universe, disconnect from our intuition, and basically disconnect from one another. That is the crux of what's going on. So you have the universe bringing in all this new earth energy and all these higher vibrations that are really here in a lot of ways to not only help ascension, but to literally rip apart old systems that are no longer working. And it's not working. I don't know if y'all have noticed this. This is not working. It's not working for human beings anywhere on the planet. It's not working. So we have to start embracing the idea of creating something that works for all of us. And the only way that we really can do that is to start listening to our inner voice and realizing right and wrong is not what the majority says. Right and wrong is what my soul says, what my intuition says, what, allows me to sleep at night without panic attacks, without, questioning, without, without seeking the pat on the back from somebody else, but feeling the inner celebration of knowing I did the right thing. I made the right decision. And you know what? Whatever challenges come with that, I can manage. So this is what the new earth is going to look like. It's going to look like me and you being authentically ourselves at all time, despite, and there will be, despite the onslaught of everything and everyone from what is dying saying, no, you can't, because ignorance is how we've always done it. No, you can't, because, we decided a long time ago some people aren't equal. No, you can't, because we decided a long time ago because women are not physically stronger than men that they have to be second. I don't know anyone who's really in touch with their intuition who feels, yeah, that's how the universe meant all of this to be. I don't. So that's this week's message. Start connecting with your intuition and start consciously choosing to follow it. Okay? Thanks so much for joining me. It was a light subject matter, but yeah, there's a lot of work involved. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie about that, but you can do it. It's worth it, I promise. Okay? Thanks so much. Namaste. Have a good week, everyone. Hi everyone, it's me, Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing, Psychic Medium, Reiki Master Teacher, Lightworker Mentor. And it is time for our weekly messages from the collective. Okay, just a quick check. How are you guys doing? It's a little crazy out there, right? Just a little bit surreal. And I just want to check in with you first, just to make sure we're all focusing as much as we can, right, on this week's messages. If you are enjoying the messages that I'm leaving for you guys, if it is giving you pause, if it's making you think, if it's making you reevaluate, make sure you are subscribing to the channel and liking the channel, as well as, hey, comment. It's really okay. I love reading your comments. And I would love to know how these messages are kind of becoming integrated into your lives and whether or not it's helping. A little feedback, just a wee bit. Anyway, let's get into this week's message. So, another doozy. I'm just going to read what I was told, and then we're going to get into it in depth. All right? Here we go. Yes, I do write this down. If you're getting insight, please write it down so you can refer back to it later, because sometimes the full meaning or the full depth of the message doesn't come immediately. You have to refer back and go, oh. All right, so here we go. Your spiritual practice, or a practice of faith, isn't a quest for perfection so much as it is about sustainability. The ability to sustain and grow happier while experiencing the highs and lows of life itself. Your practice should become part of who you are all the time, not just when you have a moment of uncertainty, doubt, or fear. The tools are available all the time, to be used all the time, as well as when you're in dire need. So, that's what we're talking about today, y'all. We're talking about how you are practicing your spirituality or your faith. Some people use faith, some people use spirituality, some people have a religious practice, some people just have a spiritual practice. Whatever it is, right? Are you one of those people who only use it when times are bad, when times are tough? Because if you are, that's not really a practice. That's kind of reacting to a bad situation when it's, I won't say when it's too late, but probably when it's going to be the least effective. And why am I saying least effective? Because a practice is exactly that, right? Like the message said, these are tools. These are tools not to make us perfect for, some afterlife experience so much as making life right now easier. And when I say easier, I don't mean something or someone else takes over our lives and takes care of all the hard parts, or takes care of all the issues, or takes care of all the challenges. No. What I mean is your spiritual practice, your faith or whatever, these are tools. These are tools to help you first understand yourself on a deep level. Not on a pedestrian level, not, I just meditate to calm myself down. But it's not about calming you down. It's about finding out what's upsetting you, right? So you don't need to calm down if you know what's upsetting you and that's being addressed. So you know what? A lot of you, if you're starting to feel stuck, if you're starting to feel like you're not making a lot of progress, that's the issue. You are trying to tread water in your life rather than actually doing the deep dive within your own heart, your spirit, your psyche, your emotions, and get to the deep root cause issue. I'm just going to wait for you here because, again, I know, me and the crew, we're very, very controversial. We really don't advocate treading through life. Okay, it's supposed to get more interesting life, right? As you go forward, as you move forward, as you grow, as you ascend, it's supposed to get more interesting. It's definitely getting more challenging, right? There's no question about that part. The more you think you know, the more you realize you have to learn. So when you practice your yoga, your Tai Chi, your meditation, your prayers, your whatevers, right? When you do these things, your affirmations, I hear being affirmation, the crew saying that to me. When you're doing these things, it's not to placate your brain. Your brain is a tool itself, right? When you get upset, it's not your brain being upset first. It's your emotional self. It's your spiritual self, right? And then the brain is trying to figure out what the hell just happened, and why are things in the body, so frenetic, so chaotic, so anxiety ridden, and what can I do to kind of make it stop, right? And that's when everybody pulls out their favorite mantra, their favorite chant or whatever. And yes, deep breathing. Okay, it's to calm yourself down. But people, that's not the end point. That's actually the starting point. That's the beginning. That's not the end. All right? Calming yourself down is great. It's really good. It's very helpful. But that's the beginning, because after you calm down, then it becomes, why am I upset? All right? Was I triggered by something? Was it something someone said? Was it a negative thought I just had? What is really going on with me, right? And then you gather your courage and you go and investigate what's going on with me. And you take this investigation, if you will, and not to say that that part's easy, because it's not, because a lot of times we're investigating things we already know. We've just kind of not wanted to deal with them, right? And so we thought, well, if I just chant, if I just pray it away, if I just meditate away, if I just breathe it away, then I don't have to deal with it. Wrong. 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 That's not healing. That's not healing. That is putting something on the back burner. That's shoving it under a rug. And then you wonder why am I always dealing with the same issues over and over again? Because you're never actually working through them. You are misusing your practice, your faith, your tools to placate your fear of what is really waiting for you, to be in denial about what's really going on, to avoid the hard work that you know is waiting for you to truly heal. A lot of people use their spirituality, their faith, and their religion that way. Or sometimes they just put it on for like holidays, high holy days, whatever your background is. It's like, I'm this for this amount of time. Again, misuse. As I said, let me just read this part again, because I think it's so important. These tools are available all the time, to be used all the time, as well as when you're in dire need. So what that means is these things are there to help you become a better person every single day. And how do we do that, right? What am I even saying? Means all the stuff that, messed you up, screwed you up, hurt you, wounded you, traumatized you, those things, if not addressed, literally are affecting you in your everyday life. And if you've told yourself it's not happening, I'm sure you realize you're lying to yourself, because it does affect who we bring into our lives. It does affect who we're attracted to. It does affect what kind of situations we allow ourselves to get into. It does affect the kind of choices that we make. It affects every single thing. So if you're not really going to the core problem, to the core issue, you're not healing. And if you're not healing, what exactly are you changing? All right. So if you have reached a point in your practice where you feel like you've hit a plateau, it's kind of like a diet, right? Yeah. You hit a plateau, you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or whatever, and you hit a plateau and you can't gain any more weight and you can't lose any more weight. Then what do you have to do? Right? What we're told is you need to change something. Maybe change your calorie intake. Maybe change, the kind of food that you're eating. Change your exercise regimen. But you guys aren't doing that in your spiritual practice. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I upset you? Did I upset you in telling you that your spiritual practice might have become boring and it's no longer working for you? Well, why isn't it working for you? Because you hit a plateau. You grew yourself to a certain level. And now you need to discover different ways to basically get yourself to the next level. That means challenging yourself. That means going deeper into your meditation. A lot of people think that meditation is just to calm them down. And, I recently said to a client, no, meditation is to actually not only calm you down, but put you in a space where you can listen to spirit speaking to you. Do you know how many people I have worked with, trained, taught to understand that meditation is actually the beginning of them really engaging their intuition and really learning how to listen to it? So if you've just been meditating to calm yourself down, you literally are stuck at step 1. If you go deeper into your meditation, if you sit there a little bit longer, if you allow your feelings to do whatever they need to do, eventually they're going to kind of roll out with the tide, and what's going to come back to you are answers to your questions. The real reason that we meditate, to engage ourselves, to engage spirit, to listen, to be present. So yeah, if you've only been doing it not even halfway, gosh, I wish I could say, yeah, halfway, not even halfway. Like, if you've been stuck in step 1, then don't be surprised that your results are also looking very much like step 1, right? It's not enough to be calm. It's not enough to be minimal in any way, shape, or form, because minimal is not what growth is. Growth really is doing the exact opposite of being minimal. It's being maximum, whatever that looks like in that day, whatever it feels like for you in that day. You show up every single time to give forth or put forth the maximum of whatever your effort is. And that had to be said. It's really not about being perfect in a unattainable, almost fantasy-like kind of way. It's about you sustaining who you are right now and seeking to become a better version of yourself. So, if you have been lazy in your spiritual development, and that if you are, your life reflects it. If you have been passive in it, and that you are, because your life is reflecting it. If you know that you kind of have been in full denial of it until there's a holiday where you have to gather with your family and go through rituals that you may or may not even believe in, your life is going to reflect it. So once again, I'm saying to you, it's all you, baby. It's all you. It's all you. It's all you. It's not like spirit's not here. It's not like, whatever you want to call God's not here, not willing and ready to help you. But the whole purpose of being born and embodied and being given free will and being given choice is for you to consciously participate in your life experiences. So nobody's going to come swoop in and come save you. Oh gosh, you're having a hard time. Let me carry you. It might feel like you're being carried when you have practiced so much that it becomes second nature, because that is the purpose of practice. I have a background in acting. The rehearsal process is for the perfection of the performance. The rehearsal process is for the purpose of the perfection of the performance. Your spiritual practice is for the quote unquote perfection of your day-to-day life. So if you're not practicing, you're never going to get to the part where it's just becomes second nature. Okay, this person is pissing me off. I know to take a deep breath, walk away. All right, chant, why am I being pissed off? They remind me of a critical parent. They remind me of an abusive spouse. They remind me of this, and this. And I know what's going on with me. It doesn't have to do with them. Even though they might be a horrible asshole of a person, it has to do with how I'm going to react to this situation. Get it? That's the spiritual practice part. Are you doing that? Are you showing up to do that every single day? Is that your intention when you go into your meditations? Is that what you're doing when you're doing your yoga? Right? When you're becoming one with your body, but mind, body, and spirit. It's just so fun to say mind, body, and spirit until you realize there's work that you have to do in mind, body, and spirit. It's so fun to say it until you need to show up. And then it's not so much fun. It might be fun to say it, but the doing, well, that's the adventure, isn't it? Anyway, that is this week's message. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Again, if you're enjoying these messages, if they are kind of pushing you to think, pushing you to challenge yourself, pushing you to grow, well, that's exactly why I do these messages. So yay us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more messages. Hit the like button, whatever. Mercury retrograde, that's what it is. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this message, but also comment. I want to know how your retrograde has been. I want to know how you're handling those old, tired relationships or people that have been coming back into your life, demanding your attention. I can tell you what I've been doing. I've been telling them to go away. I'm not doing that. No. What is past shall stay right where it is. That's what I've been doing. What have you been doing? Tell me all about it. Okay, so thanks so much. Listen, guys, practice your practice. Practice your practice. Don't just say you have a practice. Actually, practice the practice and go as deep and as far as you can. And I'm not going to say go as deep and as far as comfortable, because that's why you're stuck. You think it's about being comfortable when it's about growth, which is very much uncomfortable. All right, so thank you so much. Namaste, guys. Have a great week. Again, still in this retrograde, as you can see. But we are going to make it. I promise you. We've already been through so much. 2020, anyone? Yeah, we'll be fine. Talk to you later. Have a great one. Bye.